Okay, let me make sure that you can hear me. Yes. I'm live in the right place. How's everybody doing today? Happy Thursday. We're going to talk about receiving. We have no problems receiving and accepting packages we order in the mail, presents that are expected on Christmas or on birthdays. Even some of us do struggle with that a little bit too. We have no problem receiving criticism, a lot of us. We have no problem receiving things that we expect. And that we think we deserve. But we do tend to have problems receiving unexpected good things in life. We have problems celebrating ourselves. We have problems with our self-worth. We struggle with receiving many of the good things that life has to offer. Why is this? In some cases, maybe we have disappointed ourselves so much. We debate whether or not we think it's worth it or whether we deserve it. We think that because we're not perfect and we're not where we want to be, my relationships aren't right, I've disappointed myself so many times, that we think that we're not good enough, we're not worth it, and that it's not for us then. And that's not the case. I've seen life call people who are very shaky up to the stage to take on a very sturdy project, right? Life has a way of calling us out and putting us in a place where we're given the opportunity to level up. There are people who run the biggest companies in the world, who run countries that don't have it all together. And I promise you that there's an inner debate about, do I deserve this or not, in so many of their heads. It's easy to trust the deliveries. When we order something and we receive it, we're expecting it, we have confidence because we're expecting it. We took that action to order the thing, so we're expecting it to come. This is about your ability to know that if you do the right things, you should be expecting good things to show up for yourself. Now, I know I'm an addict, a recovered addict, and so I know what it's like to disappoint yourself so many times that you're afraid to even set a goal, that you're afraid to even expect anything that's good coming. But here's the thing. You're beautiful and you're intelligent and you're amazing and you're resilient. You wouldn't still be here if you weren't. And we can continue to fall on our face over and over and over again, but there's going to be a time where we get up and we're able to catch ourselves and not fall on our face again. And this is coming from someone who relapsed on drugs many times. I've been in 6 treatment centers because I kept repeating the same things over and over again because I wasn't sure how to move to the next step. I wasn't confident in myself enough to bet on myself. I wasn't confident enough. I didn't think that I was healed enough. I didn't think that I had the strength. And you'll be surprised. Sometimes we find this strength and this self-worth and this determination in the strangest of places. And so you can never be sure when you're going to rise to the occasion. And so, just taking a look at my notes, these things tend to show up on time when you're in the place where you're ready. This can change. You can change your track record. You could start to tell yourself, okay, I may not have everything together right now, but I'm doing my best. Maybe, just maybe, I should receive good things. Maybe I should accept good things into my life. I know that when we're not 100% confident, we can question our abilities rather than give ourselves the credit of being able to do some of the amazing things that we can do. And we don't give ourselves the credit that we deserve for going through the hard, traumatic things that we go through in life. And so, what compliments have you brushed off? What gifts have you sort of emotionally and energetically sent back by not accepting them fully? What opportunities have been in front of you that you've turned down because this isn't for me? Because you think you're not good enough, or because you're not sure if you can rise to the occasion? Because you weren't giving yourself the opportunity to prove it to yourself. Maybe because of things that people said in your past, or maybe because of things that you failed in the past before. Well, guess what? In order to succeed, failure is a requirement. I'm going to say that again. In order to succeed, failure is a requirement. You have to fail in order to be successful. It's a requirement for success. And so if we're not willing to fail forward, to try things and fall on our face and get back up and dust ourselves off, we'll never get to that place of success for ourselves. Not only that, but the expectations that we have for ourselves is very high compared to the standards that we hold ourselves to being very low, you know? And so we really need to start balancing this out for ourselves, so that we can really start to be able to receive. I know you don't have to receive everything you see and hear. You can open your hands like this in the receiving mode. When you're hearing good information and your body knows that this is the receiving mode. And when you're not ready to hear things, you can flip your hands over like this. And your body knows that it's not really in the receptive mode, that a lot of these things are bouncing off. And so that's one little trick to receiving. But building this awareness around brushing off comments and not accepting compliments and not accepting the good things about ourselves, we really need to understand that good things happen, and that even though we've been through a lot of bad things, we have to get to a place where we think we're worthy of the good things. We have to continue to believe and have faith in ourselves, that we're capable, more capable than we imagine, and we have to celebrate ourselves for the little wins. There was a time where I celebrated myself every day because I had the ability to wake up on time and get out of bed and then make it. Now, I know that that doesn't sound like a big deal. Someone who gets up when the alarm goes off, gets out of bed, gets dressed for their day, and then makes their bed. I know that doesn't sound like a big deal, but there were times where I didn't get out of bed. I couldn't get out of bed, where I didn't get up when the alarm clock went off, where I slept through them for hours and hours and then lost jobs. So being able to get out of bed, pop out of bed when the alarm went off, and make my bed behind me, go to work for the day and come home and have a bed made, that was a big deal. And so we have to start celebrating the little wins. We have to start celebrating ourselves. Hey, Kelly. Yes, the things that our head tells us. Just wild things, really. Hey, Elia. How are you? Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I'm talking about self-worth and how we stop ourselves from receiving. We have all this self-doubt, and we think that because we're not where we want to be yet, that we don't deserve the great things that we have, or that we don't deserve the great things that are coming in. But the truth is that if we don't realize that we're worth celebrating, and we don't realize that we have little successes all day, every day, and if we're not confident in ourselves enough to try doing some hard things, whether, we're more resilient than we think we are. If we're not willing to fail forward, understanding that you have to fall on your face a few times to really get something, then we're never going to get anywhere in life, and we're just always going to feel this way. And so we have to open ourselves up to celebrating ourselves in all those little wins. if you have a day where you're going through crap and your depression's acting up and it's winter time and you have a little bit of seasonal depression and things aren't going great and you're not feeling great, and if you could get out of bed when the alarm clock goes off and make your bed behind you and get to where you need to be, then celebrate it. Celebrate yourself. Exactly. It's the one thing that you can do that proves to you that you can do something. That you can do something every day. That there's something that you've done and you've done right and you've done it well. And when you come home, you get to see that bed made and ready for you to get back into. And let me give you a good example. Here's a little story about me. Back in the day, I never made my bed. I didn't think it was worth making the bed because I was just going to get back in it anyway. I thought that was the stupidest thing. Why make my bed if I'm just going to get back into it at the end of the day, right? Well, that was me kind of chipping myself out of having a neatly made bed every day when I came home from work. Once I started spending more time making my environment better for myself and doing it every day, I actually realized that it made me feel like I accomplished something. And then I had a nicely neat bed made for myself that I had set up for myself in that morning, and that was there for me when I came home after a long day. And I started to prefer it that way. And now it'll be insane if I don't make my bed when I get out of it, because I want to have that nice, neatly made bed to come home to, because I deserve it. Because we deserve good things, even if we've done bad things, even if we're not where we want to be. It does feel ridiculously good climbing into a made bed, and then on top, and if you want to put the cherry on top, clean sheets is just always I always celebrate clean sheets. I actually washed our sheets 2 nights ago, and it's like the best feeling ever, getting into a neatly clean bed at night. We have to start celebrating the little things, because we learn how to receive when we learn how to accept our own value. And putting those thoughts in our mind where we're congratulating ourselves for doing the little things that we do every day, feeding ourselves, taking care of our kids, going to our job, showing up for our lives, even if we think that it's a bad day, or I'm not capable of doing this long term, or I'm not doing what I love doing. You're still showing up for it, right? You're still showing up for you. And the more we continue to congratulate ourselves for the little things, the easier it becomes to do the things that are a little bit harder. But more than that, that's not even what this is about. We're able to receive from others when we can receive praise and celebration for ourselves. It's about loving ourselves. It's about learning to accept the good things that come to us in life, whether or not we think we're worthy of them. It's about feeling worthy and capable. It's about accepting from others the love and the praise. It's about accepting from the universe the opportunities that are put in front of our face, whether or not we recognize them for the opportunities that they are. Now, recently I've been thinking about that, and I've been working on my own thing, and I saw a post from a business coach, and he was talking about an opportunity to get on the media, to have a story done, to have my story told on the media. This is what he does. And he was saying that there were media outlets in my area, in my state, and he was asking if anybody in his community lived in this area, because what he does is he teaches people how to tell their story and promote themselves to the media outlets so that they'll have a story done on them in their coaching, and then in turn it gets you clients and it gets you noticed and recognized. And when I first saw it, I thought, well, I don't know if my business is in a place where I'm ready to be recognized like that. And then I was like, well, maybe I can't really afford the coaching. Well, maybe I don't really want to be in front of all those people. Maybe I don't feel like I'm ready for all of this. And then I stopped myself and I thought, There's 6 locations in the whole world on this post, and the one that I'm in happens to be one of them. That means this is an opportunity, and you never know. So what's the worst case scenario? I can't afford the coaching. The man doesn't think I'm good for the job. You know, nothing works out. Okay, fine. That's the same as it is right now, right? So I sent the man a message. I haven't received a message back. But guess what? I'm open and willing to receive, and I will happily receive whatever help will get me to the next place, whatever opportunities might arise from it. I'm willing to see that that's an opportunity. It's a possible opportunity. And whether nothing comes out of it or not, no skin off my back. The worst case scenario is someone could say no. Okay, well, that's the same as things are right now. And so we really have to start learning how to open ourselves up for accepting love from ourselves for ourselves. Having confidence that, okay, maybe I haven't accomplished a whole lot in this area that I'm working in right now. That means that I'm bound to accomplish something soon. That means something's bound to go right, because you can only fail so many times before things start to work out in your favor. And it's about opening yourself up to receive all of the abundance of compliments and opportunities and reasons to celebrate yourself. And so I put a soul work post in the group today, and it's about thinking about somebody who did something nice for you, and genuinely thinking about them, and maybe even writing them a personal thank you note for something nice that someone's done for you. This will help you to move into the receiving mode. Another one is to take 5 minutes, a half an hour, whatever time you have, to celebrate yourself for a small win. Even if it is just the fact that you made your bed when you got out of it this morning. Even if it's just for the fact that you woke up on time for work. Even if it's just something little, like I didn't freak out on my brother today when he said something outrageous to me that was really ballsy and he had no business saying. Maybe, I mean, that's just an example. Maybe it's just, you know, it's just that I showed up for myself today, and I was willing to fail forward. I was willing to try. These things are big, and I don't feel like enough people make a big deal out of them. Us being able to trust ourselves, us being able to trust life, comes from being able to trust ourselves. And in order to trust ourselves, we have to try. We have to tell ourselves we're going to do something. We have to keep our agreements with ourselves. So when we make ourselves promises, we have to follow through with them. And being open to receiving is one of the most beautiful things about learning that we can trust ourselves. Once we start to realize that we are worth receiving good things and that we are worthy of love. You are worthy of love and receiving beautiful good things in life just because you're alive. Just simply because you're alive. And so we have to stop holding ourselves to these standards that are ridiculous and start learning how to accept. And this is one trick that I have. When I'm listening to information, or when I'm with a person who's speaking to me, or even when I'm on the phone, I open my hands like this to receive. If I'm watching something and I want to receive the information, the knowledge, I open my hands like this. This is the receiving mode. This is, I'm open and willing to receive everything that I can from this. And then we do this, or we do this, you know, with our hands down, if we're not in the receiving mode. And so even just starting to sit in receiving mode will open you up energetically to whatever may come, because you always have the choice to flip your hands over if it's not something that you want to receive. And so there's always that. Oh, I love that, Alaya. I exist, therefore I receive. You are a receiver. That's what you do. That's what we do. That's what we all do. You're an energetic being, and energy is always moving. It's moving in a consistent flowing current at all times. And so you're always giving and receiving. It's always a give and take. There's always a give and take of energy in everything we do. And so It's just a natural part of being the receiving. And so let's stop questioning whether we're worthy, and let's stop asking ourselves if we are good enough or if we deserve what's being given, and start to really understand that the giving doesn't actually always look like we expect it to look either. We are giving energetically as well in ways that we can't see or perceive. And so we can't really know whether or not it's due to us, because we're in a constant ebb and flow of giving and receiving. And so because we can't see necessarily that bigger energetic picture, we really have no business deciding whether or not we should be receiving at the time. You are a receiver. And so being a receiver, you'll get good at receiving by understanding that being a receiver is part of who you are. You were talking, oh, hi, Dawn. You were talking about that in acupuncture. The value of receiving. It's important. It's really important that we are open to receive the good things that come in life. It's really important that we're working on our self-worth and our self-trust. It's really important because if we're closed to receiving, then we're energetically blocking the flow of abundance that comes into our lives. And even if it's there, which it is, and we just can't see it, we're not seeing it. That's the thing. And so we go crazy learning all the tools, doing all these things in order to attract things to us, but they're right in front of us and we're not seeing them because we're not open to receive. And so please consider this. Working on self-worth, working on being in the receiving mode and being open to receiving the things that are yours by birthright, that you created for yourself already, and all the things that you've already seen and done, in all of the contrast that you've experienced in your life. You're constantly, as a creator, telling the universe what you want. And so it's building up for you in your vibrational escrow, and eventually it has to become 3D. The only way that most of us are stopping ourselves from this, besides habits and thoughts that we can fix and revamp very easily, is the fact that we're not open to receive it. We don't think we're worth it. Because if you're not willing to receive it, it'll always sit there in your vibrational escrow, and it'll never become 3D. It'll never become your lived experience. I am open and I am willing to experience all the beautiful things that this life has to offer. I am open and willing to experience all of the things that are sitting in my vibrational escrow that I have worked hard for. I exist, therefore I receive. I am worthy of celebration and love and compliments and gifts. Why? Just because I am. That's pretty much it for today. There is a lesson in there. Write in a thank you note, sending a voicemail to someone that has given you something beautiful that maybe you brushed off, or just giving that back to someone else. And for yourself, finding something to celebrate yourself with. Finding something to celebrate yourself for. Even if it's something as easy as getting out of bed. I love you all, and I'll see you very soon. Have a great rest of your day.